Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of the Royal Blue Podcast. I'm joined by our special guest, Mick Rathbone, who's here to talk about all things Everton, all things David Moyes, and of course his brand new book, The Smell of Football 3, 100 Days in the Dugout. How are you, Mick?
Special guest, special edition. Wow.
Yeah, well.
All of a sudden nervous. No, it's great to be back in Liverpool. I just drove past the stadium. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's it, just wow.
So you've not been there yet?
I've not been. I've been so busy the last couple of years working for 11 different teams. But so I've not actually been to the new stadium, but I've got a lot of friends who've been there and just driving past. Yeah. And it's great as well that they're keeping Goodison as well. So win-win situation.
Yeah, and you've been very kind about our little area here. They call it our mini Manhattan.
It's unbelievable. Last time I come in Liverpool, this wasn't built, so it's really, really enjoyable.
And memories for yourself just round the corner, tending to Maraman Fellaini in the tower.
Seems like a lifetime ago. It was a Merseyside derby of many years ago. Kyrgios, red card, Fellaini, red ankle.
Yeah.
Carried off. Actually, I think I let him play on for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Bad injury, surgery, blah, blah, blah. And then obviously he was in situ at Beecham Tower.
Yeah, just
so I drive in every day after training to... I'm going to say fluff him, mess with him, massage his ankle, make him a cup of tea, blah, blah, blah.
Wow, yeah. Great.
5-star service.
Yeah. And we'll obviously we'll come on to the smell of football 3, but we've got plenty of material to warm Mick up before that. His life and time with the Blues, and of course with David Moyes goes much further back than Everton. If I just start then, obviously David Moyes came back to Everton in January, a pivotal moment in the club's history. Just your thoughts on this, on him being back in the hot seat at what is, like I say, a very important time in Everton's history.
Some people are just made to measure for a certain job, aren't they? Some people, and I think Dave, he's Everton. Everton's, I don't know. I think he suits the club fantastically well, and I think he's it's a perfect fit. Yeah. And I think I say, God, book 2 is it that if Manu would have given him a little bit more time, just a little bit more time, I think we'd be telling a different story there. That's my own personal opinion. Yeah. The last time I saw Dave was about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Under 23 game for Everton, down at their Romford training ground for West Ham.
Okay.
It was a lovely day, and I texted him, saying I was doing the game and that, and he come over, and that's the last time I saw him, and he was buzzing. He was good. He was in good form, and that. Yeah. He got the face back, he got the hunger back, he got the angry look on his face. Wow. And it was really funny because I was kind of stood by him. He was stood behind me at that game. Obviously, I'm with Everton, he's with West Ham, and he was shouting on like he always did. And wow, the years peeled away to a different era.
Yeah, and you say a different era. You knew him when you were both younger men. You were obviously both playing at Preston North End together. What was he like then? And did you envisage he'd have a future in management at that time?
I mean, it's dead easy to say destined for great things, but he was a player when I first went there as physio, player coach. Just I don't know, intense, knowledgeable, loved by the players. I don't know, all those ingredients it takes to be a good person, stroke good manager, a student of the game, thought everything through, did more hours than everybody else, so led from the front. So very special. For my first year, we got promotion. He was assistant manager and he was a player and played every game and never came in the medical room and never got injured and never had a massage and ran every cut, bruise off. Which, in some kind of ways, if you've got a manager like that, it makes your job more difficult when the lads are in with a tight hamstring or a cut. Yeah. So Dave, in a funny kind of way, was a kind of an anathema to like the modern players who would report everything. Like, you know, I think he was a player for maybe my first 3 years at Preston. I don't think he ever came in the medical room for any kind of injury at all.
Yeah. So you maybe didn't get him to go him so close in those early days. But it's interesting how you say loved as well. He had that respect and leading by example for that hard work. But the fellow pros appreciated that.
Yeah, because we're all, as players, we're all selfish and we all want to do well. We want to do well for the club and the badge, of course we do. We want to do well for myself, my career, my family and that. And there was a massive understanding, particularly at Everton, those 8 years I was at Everton. The players respected him. The players knew that by and large they're going to have their best years under a manager like Dave, and many, many players did. So it's not about going for a coffee with him. It's not about laughing and joking. It's about knowing that you've got a guy who cares about you. And in that kind of selfish way, you are likely to have your best careers under a manager like him. And I think there was many, many players, and I've seen letters that players have written to Dave over the years saying, listen, thank you. I know it was tough love at the time, but when I look back now, I wouldn't have got nowhere near I did get without you and that kind of tough love. And that's, I think, a great testimony to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's now the oldest manager in the Premier League. I mean, he was the youngest when he started. He was only 38 when he came in. I mean, it was a huge task for him.
It was unbelievable. I'll never forget that day.
Yeah.
We'd been training at Preston. I think it was raining quite heavy. It was the end of April 2002.
Yeah.
And I was down in the medical room at Deepdale. And Dave shouts to me, goes, Baz, have you got a minute? So I go up to see him. He sat in the thing. And we were really close friends as well. It was different world, different era, smaller staff, so a different relationship. And he goes, Baz, he goes, I'm going to Everton.
Yeah.
I said, when? He went, now.
Okay.
I said, what, now? He went, yeah, now. I said, okay. He goes, and I'm coming back for you. So off he went, and I think he did the last 4 games of that season maybe, and they stayed up, and did Unzi score in his first game, a penalty, and it was magical. It was tough, and I saw him drive off that day, literally. 5 minutes later, he drove, waved out the window, and I thought, wow, I don't actually envy you. Yeah. Because the club's struggling. It's a massive club to be where it was. Yeah. And I thought, wow, you're pretty inexperienced for this kind of stuff. Yeah. So as I say, as he drove off, I thought, wow, rather you than me. Yeah. Which says probably more about me than him.
What was it like for yourself though, as a physio coming in there? Because obviously he had to deal with all the big egos and the big personalities, but it'd be the same for yourself in the medical room?
Much the same. And you've heard the stories by now. So I'm at Preston, and Dave's coming for me that summer. But I don't want to go. I want to stay at Preston because it's 7 miles from home. I played for them. I was on decent money. And people were saying to me at Preston, Baz, you'll hate it at Everton. The players are horrible. Big Duncan Ferguson has a pathological hate of physios. So I thought, oh my God. So, but Dave's phoning, Baz, I need you over there. So I go around to his house. And I don't want to be a coward. I have a wife and kids and that. So I think to myself, right, if I ask for so much money, he's going to say we can't do it. Then I've not made a decision, have I? Yeah. So I've told this story a million times. I go to Dave's house one night. I guess it was May, June 2002. Knock the door. He comes to the door, and I say, all right, Dave, because he's not the boss now. He's Dave, isn't he? I could have called him Moyes. I could have called him whatever I wanted, couldn't I? Yeah. So he goes, Baz, I need you over there, like, you know. And I was on £40,000 a year, which was good money back in 2002 at Preston. So I've never asked for anything in my life, and that was my fault as a player. That's why I got nothing. But I thought, so we're chatting about the club and that, like, you know, I'm thinking to myself, do it, say it, blurt it out. I said, I'll come, Dave, but I want twice the wages. He went, yeah, no problem at all. Mate, good. I said, good. And win bonus. He goes, yeah, a couple of £100 a point. I went, that'll be fine. And a big car. He goes, yeah, we'll get you a Mercedes or something like that. Okay. And I got outside and I remember thinking, oh my God, the fear factor. I'm nervous. I've got to go over there with those people who hate physios. But for the point of view of my wife and kids, we're fine. And that's a big issue. So then fast forward the next 4 or 5 weeks, I pull up into the car park at Belfield for my first day. I'm scared. My hands are sweating. I'm in my car. And I think to myself, well, this is for your wife and kids. Do it. So I got out of the car. It was a really hot day, and I had some faded denims on and a dark denim jacket. And I'll never forget, I had like a yellow and blue check shirt on. Yeah. So I walk across with heavy legs, and I'm stood in the old foyer at Belfield, like, you know, I don't really know what to do. My heart's pumping. And then I hear this big booming voice that I now know to be Big Dunk saying, by the way, have you clocked the new physio? It's Bob the effing Builder.
Wow.
And I hear this laughter. And then down the corridor at Belfield, just like in a Western, the door gets booted open. And there he is, all 6'4" of him, just with his shorts on. He'd been working out, like, stood menacingly looking down at me. Then he comes towards me with that swagger. He goes, I'm Big Dunk. I've finished a few physios' careers. And I goes, I'm Baz. I've finished a few players' careers. He comes up and he sticks his face in my face. And he jabs me in the chest. He goes, I like you. I thought, oh, thank God for that. Then he goes away. And then, God rest his soul, Kevin Campbell comes down. He goes, oh, Baz, I'm Kevin Campbell. Like I didn't know. He goes, I'm club captain. Everyone's heard a lot about you. Really excited. Welcome to Everton Football Club.
Yeah.
And I say in my book, 1 or 2, I can't remember. I was in, and it was as simple as that, and it was magical. And that afternoon, everybody had gone home, and I was in the little gymnasium at Belford in them days. I had my Everton kit on. Everton kit, the badge, the nil size, and my initials on the badge and that, like, you know, and it was Kedgian in them days. It was a light blue top with like little brown bits on. And I'm running on the running machine, and there's a big mirror in front of me, like, you know, everyone's gone home and that. And I'm running, I'm looking at myself with the badge on and that, like, you know, and I got tears like streaming down my face. Really? It's we don't want to get twee, and I never played for Everton, but I think a lot of people have said it. There's something special about it. Even now, when I hear the word Everton, if I see an Everton shirt, I was in where was I, in Menorca in the summer. I said, look at the Everton shirts, and there's something about it, isn't there? Like, you know. Even looking at the scarf.
Yeah, it's great for you to say that, Mick. You know, as a non-Merseyside, as a non.
And I've worked for 21 clubs, by the way. So I've got a good experience of working for clubs. I've worked for a lot of big clubs, and I don't know whether it was me being in that time at that place, and it's my perception because it was magical for me. Maybe if I'd have gone and things had gone badly and I hadn't performed well and the team hadn't performed, maybe I wouldn't have this warm glow when I see it, like, you know. So it is kind of the time and you know, so but for me it was something special, honestly. Yeah.
So I mean, you stood up to Big Duncan, got off to a good start with him. Yeah. I was going to say, because unfortunately, you know, he'd been for a long time. He'd had a lot of injuries. I mean, did you get to know him very close? Like you
did. I went to a couple of his kids' christenings. I would say we became friends. Yeah. And then I went back for my second time there. 6 years ago? I went back for a month again, stayed for 3 years in the academy, which was amazing. And then Dunk took over. I talk about this at the end of the second book. I'd gone in the academy when Marco Silva and his guys were there. Yeah. And Marco Silva seemed a really, really nice guy. The people who worked with him really liked him a lot. But it was a difficult time, and it felt like there was that kind of dissociation in terms of, I don't know, it's cliche, but love for the club and that. Yeah. And then Dunk took over, didn't he? And then that kind of love come back in, and I know it sounds a bit simplistic and that, and I was there when Dunk come back in, and then it was the old Everton again, just for that kind of magical 6 weeks, and he'd come and sit with me and Onzi and the guys, the young lads, young Anthony Gordon then, and Ellie Sims and people like that, and he'd be telling jokes and holding forth, and that kind of Everton love came back into the club. Yeah. And to be fair, Ancelotti, he came in then, and he kind of got it and he understood that, and I still felt that Everton glow when I went in every day. Yeah. So it was really interesting. Yeah. I felt the warmth, I felt the draft, and then the warmth came back.
Yeah. Just rolling back a bit, so those early days under David, obviously 03-04 had finished really disappointingly there with the 39 points and finishing 17th. But to come from that to finish 4th, just what was it like being in that dressing room at that particular time?
We lost the last 5 games, I think. So I don't think we was ever in danger of going down. But we lost the last 5 games. Actually, we got beat 5-1 at Man City last game. And I remember it was ugly. It wasn't nice. And I remember sitting there with my head in my hands trying to hide. I remember Dave standing with his chest out with his Everton top on in the front of the dugout, 5-1 down, having lost, I think, 4 or 5 on the trot. I thought, oh, God, what a guy. What a guy. I'm trying to hide and I'm only the physio. Yeah. But something really interesting, because that's some of the Everton fans are the best, but the best are also the most critical as well. You can't it's the other side of the same coin. And the first year we finished 7th, it was magical. Second year, it didn't happen, did it? And we finished
17th, wasn't it? Yeah, without being in relegation.
Yeah. We finished 4th bottom. Yeah. That summer, we went to Houston. Yeah. And Dave goes to me, he goes, Basil, some Everton fans have come across, they're not happy with how things have gone, and they want a meeting with me. I'd like you to come. I thought, oh, me? What have I got? Yeah. And me and Alan were there and that. And these fans come in and like, they were good, they were honest, but they put it on there, not good enough, we want better, you know, blah, blah, blah. This is our lives and all that kind of stuff. And if you're in any doubt what the club meant to the fans, after that impromptu meeting in Houston, we weren't like, you know. But there's a story before that, because that summer it was a bit of a low. Radzinski had gone to Fulham, left a little bit of a parting shot, I think, and we were in Austria on pre-season, and it was all a little bit low and a little bit of worry about the future, like, you know, we need to start all kind of stuff. And then we decided to lighten the load. We'd have some team games in training, right? Okay. And we had one game, and it was, I I think Dave took, I can't remember the exact, it's a long time ago. I think Dave took a squad, we'll have a fun day. And they had a game of chip the ball onto the crossbar comp, you know.
Okay.
And then Lummy took some of the lads at the other end and they had a game of curl the ball in from the corner flag line. Anyway, we're only drink on the night. And Dave goes, how did it go, Lummy? And Lummy goes, it was good, we had a laugh. I think we needed that, like, just a fun day. And Moisey goes, matter of interest, who won? Lummy goes, I won. And Moisey goes, that's funny, I won the chip in the ball on the crossbar. I said, God, I won the bleep test.
Yeah.
And we couldn't stop laughing. And we said then, listen, we're going to Houston next week. Let's just back off and let's enjoy it and let's just see what it takes us. And it was really funny because that kind of deliberate backing off, not to give in or anything like that, but let the lads breathe a little bit maybe and not be too intense and understand that this is tough at the moment. And let's went to see Houston Astros play baseball.
Yeah.
We had a few beers and a couple of singing nights and might not have been like that if we'd have finished fifth the year before.
Yeah.
And it's incredible how that kind of turned the whole thing round. But of course, the real reason, I guess, on the pitch why it turned round was the game at Palace, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Speroni having too many touches and Kev robbing him and getting fouled, Tommy taking the pen. They just come up and that was probably 5 games in, and it weren't looking great. Yeah. So the narrative that I've just told you about all that in Austria and America, maybe if Speroni hadn't dwelt on the ball, brought Kev down, Tommy tucks a pen, Tommy gets a winner 10 minutes later, we win 2-1 and we don't look back.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, because I'm very aware when I'm writing my books, a lot of this stuff is like fond memories and how you see it through that like magical prism of, again, looking back into the past and the golden era that maybe never was that.
Yeah, but it was an incredible turnaround, year on year, though, wasn't it? Into, you know, to finish 4th above, you know, a Liverpool side who won the Champions League that season. Yeah. I mean, just what was it? Was there a real camaraderie within that group then? Yeah,
there's that momentum and that, and I've got so many great memories of my time in football, 50 years, and I was going to say and counting, probably stopping counting soon. But things that I remember Tim Cahill at Goodison scoring that 3rd goal against Newcastle. Buried it into the roof of the net. I remember everybody staying in the stadium. I remember the lap of honour. And I remember the next day, I think, Liverpool played at Arsenal. Yeah. Arsenal won. That meant we could not finish below 4th. And I remember then the text of phone calls, everybody getting to Liverpool now. Yeah. And the most amazing, magical night out in Liverpool. Yeah. And that's kind of what I remember from that era.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if it's factually correct. I think it probably is. But that goal of Tim's, I think, against Newcastle, maybe the last home game, he fouls him at the edge of the box. He had a touch and then bang, roof of the net. And the roof came off Goodison. And I've been so lucky, mate. I've been so lucky.
Just going back to something you said there, because like I said, that I've not seen a copy of the book, but I've been through the PDF last night, and I know one of the things you do mention there is about the bleep test, and I know you were in your mid-40s at the time.
Yeah.
Well, joking apart, David wasn't pleased that the players...
No, I was in my prime at the time, and we did the bleep test at Belfield, and after they'd all finished, I said to Dave Below, a fitness coach, great guy, good mate of mine, I said to Dave, Dave, let me have a go at that when everyone's gone. So I had a go and done great. I was a really good runner, like, you know, I won it by a level, like, you know. So I said to Dave Below, please don't tell Moyes about this. So Dave went and told Moyes. So Moyes got the lads in the next day at that, like, porter camp we used to have as the meeting room at Belfield. He goes, I'm no happy. I'm telling you boys, you need to buck up. I've just found out Baz won the bleep test. Yeah. I'm no having it. And it was tongue-in-cheek because Dave knew I was really good runner, like, you know. And then all the lads are going, Baz, you're horrible, Baz. What a horrible guy you are. But it was
all your fault.
Yeah, it was really funny. It was funny. Yeah. And it was done. I say Dave did it tongue-in-cheek because he knew I was such a good runner because I've been with him for 7 years at Preston. Yeah. And I was still playing in all the Resi games. Yeah. You know, so...
I believe he put you off somewhat, didn't he, with his quote about, was it, you've only got so many heartbeats or something? It was
Mate, Dave is... Whatever Dave said comes to fruition, I'm telling you. So I used to do all the running at Belfast with all the players, run hard every day. That's how I work. That's how we work the injured lads and that. Then every afternoon, everybody had gone. I used to go on the rowing machine, just run 10K at 16. Yeah. Beautiful South, greatest hits, first 6, and you'd be done your 35.5-minute run. And then one day, I got up to about 7K, and Dave comes in, he stood by me watching, he goes, Baz, I've got a theory that every human being has a certain amount of heartbeats, and when your heartbeats are done, you die. I turned the machine off and I never went back on.
Wow.
And I just satisfied myself with doing the work in front of me, which is still consumable. I've never been on the running machine since.
Wow, I'm not too sure how I'm making that theory. But in terms of the way that the team evolved, though, I mean, there's some great moments. I've seen them competing in Europe on a regular basis. It must have been great to be part of that at the real sharp in the game, and to see that the fruits of everyone's labours, yours and David's, that it was such a good side back then.
Dave built a really good side, didn't he?
Yeah.
Made some inspired signings. And he looked down in the division below and got players who everybody had looked at, but you know the old adage, they're not good enough for the Premier League. He went down there, didn't he? I don't know if Baines, Jags and TC were a good example.
Yeah.
He moulded that with some senior players, like senior terms experience from bigger clubs like Tim Howard, and obviously Nev came in and that. And I don't know, what is it? You know, you throw all the bricks into the corner and it all comes out great and that, like, you know, many people have tried and many people have done similar things. I don't know. It was just magical, and it all fitted, and everybody. Jolien obviously came from Wolves, and everything Dave touched turned to gold. And you know what? Nobody worked harder than him, and he had some luck. And the harder he worked, the luckier he got. And if anybody ever says to me, "Yeah, but he had a bit of luck," I said, "No. None of that was luck. That was all down to taking risks, hard work, and leading from the front."
Yeah, and you say about that hard work, I'm told even now, I think Alan Irving said it recently, he puts the hours in there.
He'll see Alan off. He'll see Alan. Alan's 67 like me nearly.
Yeah.
But he does.
Yeah.
So, you know, any fan anywhere who questions the manager or any Everton fan, you can't question the work ethic. Yeah. Sometimes I say to Dave, I'll be going home from Finch Farm, and I say, "What are you doing? You got your suit on?" He goes, "I'm going to watch Arsenal play Wolves. We've got Wolves on Saturday." And I say, "Well, it's on Sky tonight, and you don't know what the 11's going to be," because he goes, "Baz, if I go to the game, I'll feel that I've prepared better."
Yeah.
And I know these guys earn a lot of money, but wow, he always gave value for money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned about Fluff and Fellaini earlier, but
yeah.
In terms of...
we never called it that at the time because the players thought it was so important, but now I've kind of retired. We call it what it is.
Yeah.
Just fluffing them for the sake of it.
Yeah. I mean, who were the characters in terms of, were any like good ones, and who were the bad ones? Are you able to say?
They're all great. They're all great. In the early years, it was very British-based still, and there was like Watto and Gary Naismith, and I had this another check shirt, and it was an Armani shirt. It was an Armani shirt, and I wore it one day, and I got changed in the old my little office at Belfield in the porter cabin, and then I had my kit on, and then Sue said, "Baz, phone in reception." I went in reception, and it wasn't for me. And so, anyway, I missed that. I went into the medical room. Watto had gone to the considerable trouble of laying a table using my check shirt as the tablecloth.
Yeah.
He had candles, knives and forks and that, like, you know. He said, "Right, Baz, don't wear that shirt again." Anyway, I let it go for a few months. I thought, I'm wearing it. It cost me a load of money. So I wore it one day. Anyway, I got away with it. I got changed in that. Then I'm doing it's a really torrentially wet day. It was pouring down with rain. The lads are warming up down the bottom, and I've got Gary Naismith doing some hard running with me, like, you know, it's really wet. And we've done about, I don't know, maybe 10 long busting runs. And Gary goes, "Is that me now, pal? Am I done, pal?" I said, "That's you for today." He goes, "Right." He takes his Everton top off. He's got my check shirt on, and he slides through all the mud in my check shirt. And Watto goes, "Told you not to wear it again."
Wow.
And it was like that. I don't know if that goes on at clubs now. I suspect it doesn't.
A different generation.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
It's kind of, can I say it's too serious now?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can it be too serious? Or I guess there's a lot more at stake.
Yeah.
You know, so that's not a criticism. That's just, obviously I've worked at 11 clubs in the last 3 years, and I'm the jobs now where I'll give Bass a ring, we're struggling, we ain't got a physio. They tend to be lower down, so I've worked lower down. So we do. I was in Harrogate yesterday. We were laughing and joking, and I was doing my House of Bamboo dance. They put it on specially for me. I was going out to my car, and Simon, the manager, goes, "Baz, if you got a minute," I go back in, and on the big screen, all the staff are there. On it goes, like, you know. So I perform for them.
Yeah.
So it's still, I think that kind of attitude, mentality persists lower down. But I would suspect at the big clubs now, it's so serious, isn't it? Super serious.
Yeah, and in terms of the passing of time, we've spoken about this before we went on there. It's a funny story, innit? Apparently, everything comes to an end, and then your time at Everton came to an end.
So unbelievable. We beat Portsmouth at home 1-0.
Yeah.
Do you remember it? Billy Letdinoff. Billy Letdinoff scored in the 94th minute. They went down Portsmouth that day. So when we was in next week, usual, end of season, doing that, end of season, couple of days training, sort out pre-season, blah, blah, blah. Lads were in and then I was in my office and Dave knocks on the door and he goes, Baz, have you got a minute? I thought, oh, what's up here? He just didn't look like himself. So he took me down to his room, sat in there and he goes, Baz, it's time for the change. I said, oh, don't go, Dave, you're doing a good job. He goes, Baz, in the medical department. I said, you've never liked Matt. He goes, Baz, it's not Matt. I said, Danny. He goes, it's not Danny either. I goes, give us a clue, mate. In the medical department, but it's not Matt or Danny. He goes, Baz, he's in the room now, it's not me. So I'm looking under all the tables and then the penny dropped. Now, that's not what happened. I made that story up because a couple of years later, after I'd left, I saw Baines and Jags away with England.
Yeah.
And they goes, what happened? So I made that story up.
Right.
And I've told that story a load over the years. So when my second book came out, I was on TalkSport, Hawksby and Jacobs in London and that. And they said, what happened? And I told that story.
Okay.
And my wife and daughter and husband were over at Borough Market over the road from TalkSport.
Okay.
And I got there and I got my phone. Missed call. David Moyes. Okay. So I thought, oh God, thank God I missed that call. Oh no, he's left an answer phone message. I put it on. He goes, Baz, he was working at West Ham's. He goes, Baz, I was coming out of West Ham's training ground. I had that TalkSport on. I heard you telling that story. Baz, I've got to say, I thought it was fantastic. I couldn't stop laughing. The story is, the fact of the matter is, I've done 7 days a week for 18 years.
Yeah.
And you get burned out and it's hard. And things that didn't affect you 4 years ago are now more difficult. And we had loads of injuries that season.
Yeah.
We had 6 years of no injuries. Well, I got all the credit. I used to say, they say, Baz, you've turned the club around. Got no injuries since you came. I'd say, it's luck. And no, you're so humble as well. I say, well, let's have the conversation. We've got loads of injuries. And that perfect storm came that year. And I have to say, I've done like nearly every day of the week for 18 years. And that. And Dave had been great. And a couple of times before that season, he got me in and goes, I was 50 that year. And I say my second book, Dave said to me one day, he goes, Baz, where's the old Baz? And I say my book, the old Baz had become the old Baz. And I was struggling. I'd done 18 years there. And he knew, the doc knew that I was finding it really difficult. I just needed a break. It's burnout. It doesn't make me a bad person. And they done me a massive favour. Okay. I'll never be able to repay Dave and the doc and Danny what they done for me.
Yeah.
They allowed me to leave. They allowed me to have 6 months off and do my first book and just recharge.
Yeah.
And when I look back at that time, I was on my knees. I didn't realise how tough it was. But 18 years of having another pebble placed on you every single day and that, and then 6 months later, I was a different person again. Yeah. And they allowed me that, and I'll never be able to thank them enough for what they did for me.
Right, and like you said, and like David, there was a second coming for you as well at Everton.
It's just unbelievable, isn't it? It's unbelievable. I've been to the Caribbean with Danny Donachie's dad, Willie Donachie.
Okay, Willie.
We had 4 games for Montserrat, won 3 of them. They never won a game. It was an unbelievable experience. We had a home game, and then the month later another home game. Then the third of the international breaks we played in Curacao,
right, and
then the fourth one in Grand Cayman. And we won 3 of the 4 games.
Not bad for an away day, is it?
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then in the second book, I have this kind of road to Damascus thing, looking at the volcano. And the book's about worrying and pressure and what's important and what's not. And then on this fabled day with Willie, the Buddhist, looking down at the destroyed city of Plymouth in Montserrat, I had my road to Damascus minute. And everything kind of made sense. And then I got home, the phone rang, and it was Everton, asking me to go back. It's my 60th birthday, and that was it. It had to be Everton. And I went back, for a month at the moment. Then I stayed for 2 months. Then I stayed for 3 months, and I stayed to the end of that season.
Yeah.
And I'd had it. No, not had enough, but I was now 61, and my knee was really bad. And I thought, I'll call it a day. And we was in La Manga, and Unzi was the manager of the under-18s. So it was breakfast time. And I went down early, and he was sat having his breakfast upstairs. And I went over to him. I said, Dave, listen, mate, I've had a great year. I've really enjoyed it, but obviously my knee's not great. I'm not getting any younger. When I get back, I'm going to give my notice in. He goes, yeah, F off, Baz. So I laughed and went downstairs. I thought, no, I can leave if I want, can't I? So I thought, so I went back up and went to Dave, sorry to bother you again, mate, but yeah, it's not great. I feel my age now. And, he goes, Baz, seriously, I won't tell you again. F off. So I went outside again. I thought, this is crazy. You can leave, can't you, if you want? I went back up, tapped him on the back again. He goes, 10, 9, 8, 7. So I went downstairs and stayed another 2 years. But what Dave was saying really is, look, we've got some great kids coming through. We've got Anthony Gordon. We've got like Ellis
Sims,
Ellis Sims. We had like Darbo coming through, and what he was saying in his own inimitable way. Come on, do another year, mate. And I could do that for Everton. Like, they've done so much for me, so I've done another year, and we won the double, didn't we? And those lads came through, and Anthony got with the first team, and Ellis got his good move, and Dobbo and Tom Cannon. And so I could do that. I could do a year for them. They've done so much for me.
Yeah, which kind of brings us now to the smell of football free. Because what is it? 11 clubs in how many years now?
I've done 11 clubs in the last 3 years.
3 years.
It's unbelievable. That phone, it just doesn't stop ringing. And I'm humble, and I'm at Harrogate now. I was trying to think the other day of the 11 clubs, and I found it hard to remember. So I left Everton the first time. I left Everton 3 years ago. Done. Drove my Audi to WeBuyAnyCar.com, sold it. My wife picked me up. We're done. We're sailing off into the wind together. A couple of days later, Chris Casper from Salford, Baz, we haven't got a physio. I went to Salford, left Salford after 6 months. I went for a month. Then I went to Preston for a bit to help out. Their new physio started. I left there, went to Accrington. The following summer, James Vaughan phoned me up. I kept seeing the number, James Vaughan. He goes, Baz, I'm at Tranmere now, sporting director. The physio has left. We've not got a physio. Went to Tranmere for 6 weeks. Then I left there. Then I went to Dundee for a week. Then I went Unzi phoned me, went to Oldham, stayed for 6 months. Left there, did Blackpool's last 10 first team games that season. Then after that, I went back to Salford, into Accrington. I've lost count.
Yeah.
Back to Salford again. Back to Preston again. Mentioned Dundee, haven't I? I was at Dundee with Gary Bowie for a bit, and now I'm at Harrogate. Yeah. This is it. This is the last one. Yeah. And again, I had an amazing summer. This summer it was great. My son got married. Obviously, played for Wrexham. Wrexham got promoted. It was a beautiful summer, warm, and just enjoying life and writing my third book and that. And then that phone call. Baz, it's Harrogate Town here. They have a fantastic lady physio who's gone on maternity leave. Okay. The guy who was going to step in for 6 months couldn't do it in the end. We're struggling now. Can you? Yeah, I can. The answer's always going to be yes, I can. I said I'll work till the end of September. Yeah. I've been in on the 1st of October, the 2nd October. I've been in 6 days so far in October. I can stay on, I think, till the end of October. But obviously when your book comes out, you have to do all the publicity.
Like we're doing
so
now,
you can't not do that. You've kind of made a promise to the publishers that you will help them to promote the book and that, like, you know. Yeah. So I promise, so I'm helping, and I'm honourable, and I will always do that, like, you know. Yeah,
and the book itself is a 100-day diary, isn't it, for your time with Accrington Stanley last season?
It's unbelievable, because the first book's 35 years of me and life, and it's about having no confidence. The second book's 11 years and 10 clubs, and it's about growing old in a young man's sport. That covers my time at Man U and with the England teams and that. Yeah. And then going back to Everton and comparing and contrasting the Everton I first went to and the one I fell back into later when they were really struggling. And then when I was at Accrington, it was unbelievable what happened at the end. It was absolutely incredible. And I kept a few notes I was going to do like a diary of a season just for myself. And then I looked at it, I worked out it was 100 days, and the stuff at the end was unbelievable. So I thought, you know what, you could tell a really good story here whereby it's kind of the minutiae of the day-to-day stuff that people, for some reason, find fascinating, and how a certain player's injury will really affect you and upset you, and that's what happened with this one guy. And just the minutiae and the pre-season friendlies and the day-to-day stuff that people seem to be obsessed with. And then it's kind of juxtaposed against the fact that we never won for 8 games. And we had a really good side, a really good manager, but we kept getting done in the 91st minute, and how tough it is in the dressing room and how raw it is. Because these guys, these aren't Premier League players. No. It matters if you get released. if you release an Everton player now, they will go to another Premier League club, or at the very least a top Primera Liga club, and they're okay. But at that level, at the wrong end of Division 2, it's your mortgage, it's your job, it's your kids' futures up to a point.
Yeah.
So it's rawer when you get beat. We kept getting done in the last minute. And then we come to that 9th game, my 98th day at the club, and wow, it was incredible what happened, and I won't spoil the ending.
Yeah.
But obviously, I don't die.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting start now. I'd like that. I got to read the start there, and you're talking about the Club Tropicana and the WAM, and then obviously it's the WAM Stadium. You wake up the reality, like you say, life in League Two.
Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. But it was really funny because I'd done Blackpool's last 10 games.
Yeah. We
won 7, nearly got on the playoffs. We got done in the last game 2-1 at Reading.
Yeah.
I loved it at Blackpool. I loved doing the last 10 games. The people were so nice. And then I retired. That was it. I packed in another leaving speech, another present, and that was done.
Yeah.
And then Accrington phoned me. I said, come on, do another year, one more year. It's like the Donald Trump, one more year, one more year. It's only 5 miles from my house, and I met them, and I knew them. They were such nice people. It's such a great club, Accrington, the history and all that, and they were so good to me and that. And I said, I'll do it. And they said, what about the games? I said, I'll do all the games as well. I got home, and I said to my son, Oliver, who's living by me at the time, I goes, I'm going to Accrington doing all the games. He goes, Dad, he said, what's the matter with you? You're 65. You're doing all the games. He said, by October, you'll regret it. Anyway, I'm being honest now. Yeah. After a couple of months, it was tough, and the people were so good, and I enjoyed it. But just the load, and we had this injury that really upset me. Nothing to do with me, but this guy was great, and I always say to myself, these kids, this could be my son. And he had this injury. It was a nightmare. And the kid was such a nice guy. Nobody could get to the bottom of it. And to see his face every time, it was more bad news. And it really affects you, like, you know.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting because all through the last book, I stay on and I care, and I stay on the grass. I go out in the rain because they could be my son. Yeah. And one day at Oldham, the under-18s at Oldham didn't have a physio. They can't train without a physio. So I'd go out with the pros in the morning, and I'd say to the guys at the academy, listen, if you'll train this afternoon, I'll stay out in the rain and the wind and the cold, and I'll cover your session medico-legally so you can train. Yeah. And they were great for that. I don't know money for it or anything like that, like, you know. And a lad come up to me and he goes, Baz, he goes, do you know Stephen Taylor? Yeah. I said, no. Because he knows you. He said he played with you at Preston. I said, Stevie Taylor? He goes, yeah. Because he said, your dad? He goes, no, he's my granddad. So I go, oh my God.
That's when the penny dropped,
mate,
it's not one generation,
so when I
keep
saying these people, you know, he could be my son. No, he could be my grandson.
Yeah.
And that's how it's been. And but I'm still out running with them.
Yeah.
And I'm still winning the odd sprint, 2 or 3 sprints and that, like, you know. So we have this great thing in the fitness. Every club I go to, I say to the fitness coach, right, in the Friday morning sprints, I'm going to join in. Tell me what the first row, you know, the lads will stand in a line and it'll be turn, a red cone or a green cone. It'd be turn, red, turn green, turn, green. You know what I mean? Yeah. So me and the fitness coach, we did it great at Forest. Yeah. We'd sit down, he'd say, right, the first 3 sprints, the first one is turn, red. The second one's turn yellow, which is obviously opposite direction. And the third one's turn, yellow. So I know what they are. So I've won the first 3 sprints. Yeah. Because it's only 6 yards, and if you get that half a yard, you're going to win it no matter how old you are, like, you know. And I can see the steam coming out of Mark Warburton's ears, like, you know, how's this guy winning the sprints? Like, then after 3 hours, say, lads, look, I'll drop out now, like, you know, I feel terrible, like, you know. Yeah,
you're like John, picked up with his bottle, you've got the information.
Yeah. So, Mark, if you're listening, you're probably not. That's what happened.
Yeah, and without giving away any secrets, there are a nice smattering of Everton stories in there as well. I know there's one talking about the changing times and stuff. I remember talking about James McFadden, how he just had a lecture on healthy eating.
Mate, and I laugh. And a nutritionist came to Harrogate yesterday, and lovely, and it's good, and you should take note of that. It's not for me. Yeah. I don't think it's important, but 99% of people do. So I accept I'm probably wrong, but my lived experience of heavy drinking during the 70s and the 80s and crisps, and I had fizzy sweets last night, and I feel great. I'm still in the top running group and that. So my lived experience is not that, but you should take notice of it and that. But we had a situation when all the guys are coming to Everton in the back in the day at Belfield and that, and we got a nutritionist now. We need to look at the players' nutrition, and Faddy, I don't think he has a very good life, and we need to get Faddy in. So we had a couple of hours with Faddy with the nutritionist, diet plan, green foods you can have, red foods you must not have, and all that kind of stuff. And Faddy's, got it, there's your diet plan for tonight and that. Anyway, Faddy drives away, and I drive away, and I stop for some petrol. And I'm in the queue to pay, and I notice Faddy's up the front, he's paying. He's got a Mars bar, king-size packet of crisps. And I tap him on his back and I say, "How's the diet going, mate?"
Yeah, caught in the act.
But I wouldn't grass him up, and we laughed about it. In fact, we laughed for about 20 minutes about it. It was funny.
Yeah.
Would it be funny in 2025? Oh, I suspect it wouldn't be funny. The things that were funny then, like Tommy letting the firework off on the indoor gym and scorching the AstroTurf, funny. Not funny now.
Okay, yeah.
Probably a shame, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
it'd be funny at Harrogate. It'd be funny at Harrogate Town.
Yeah.
Where I live now, that would be funny, mate.
Yeah.
In fact, if I'm still there on bonfire night, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. The smell of football free smells good to me. Anyway, it's out on Amazon now. You can get that.
Yeah, it's on the Waterstones website.
Yeah.
I love the three. They fit together so well. I'm really proud of them. To be a triple published author, I'm really proud and to be able to say that. So, and thanks for inviting me in today.
Yeah, you're welcome, Mick. Like I said, it's Pitch Publishing as well, which is obviously Spirit the Blues, my one. Just a little plug at the end as well. We've got myself and Michael Ball coming down to Waterstones at Liverpool at the end of November. You can just go to my social media channels to check out that one. Hopefully you can come and join us. But yeah, Smell of Football Free available now. And thank you so much, Mick Rathbone.
I've had a great day, some great memories. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Mick.